Why did I start a YouTube channel? That's actually a question I get a lot, and I don't think I've ever shared the real reason why I started freeze drying on the internet. Some stuff happened in our family about 1.5 years ago that really rocked our world, and which was kind of my motivation behind becoming a freeze dryer and sharing my journey here with you all on YouTube. Part of what motivated me to share my story was I just saw last week I reached 10,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And I am just so thankful to every single one of you who have subscribed to my channel, who enjoy watching my freeze drying videos. It makes me just so happy and grateful, and I'm just so motivated to keep doing more and to reach as many of you as I can. So thank you from the bottom of my heart from being here. I appreciate all of you. But I recently went on a trip and I got to go to Trader Joe's. We do not have Trader Joe's in Alaska. So I found some fun candy at Trader Joe's to freeze dry. So we're gonna freeze dry some candy while I share with you my story. And I'm warning you in advance, if I get emotional, I am sorry. I am a very emotional person when I talk about personal stuff. So, forewarning, I'm sorry. Let me show you the candy that I found. I found these in Texas. Did I say that? I was in Dallas and found some fun candy. So, we got these Cinnadragons that looks delicious. I think they're similar to like a cinnamon bear, but dragon shaped. I got these bacon and eggs gummies, which looked hilarious and adorable. And these Tangy Turtles. They're tart and sweet gummy candy. We're gonna see what these guys do in the freeze dryer. I'm just gonna work on getting these on my trays, but let's have some story time, shall we? I'm just gonna talk, but oh, these kind of look like peach rings. How funny. Okay, it's about 1.5 years ago, my husband had a routine shoulder surgery. He had injured his shoulder and it needed to be operated on. He went in for his surgery. It went well, as far as we knew. And about a week later, he was finally, starting to feel a bit better. And was like being able to get out of the house and do more. Okay, but pause. Look how cute these are. I'm obsessed. So about a week after his surgery, he went out to lunch with one of his friends who was in town that he hadn't seen in a long time. And he came home from that lunch and was having some terrible side pain that he didn't know what it was. His side just started hurting really bad. I'm doing my Trader Joe's candy on 2 trays and just Skittles on my other 2 trays since those are an experiment. These I always need to restock Skittles. So that's what's happening here. So he was experiencing this really bad side pain. We didn't know what it was. Like, it was so bad to the point where he was supposed to take my kids to gymnastics that night. He didn't feel like he could make it driving in the car and sitting through a couple-hour gymnastics lesson. So he stayed home. I took my kids that day. He still had a lot of pain all night long. It wasn't easing up. We were thinking maybe a kidney stone, but it wasn't exactly like in the kidney area. We finally called up our friend who is a doctor and kind of explained his symptoms, and he was like, if you're having unexpected severe side pain, which is what he was having, go to the emergency room. So we finally decided it was time he needs to go to the emergency room and get checked out. I just dropped him off at the hospital because I had my kids at home I had to take care of, but they got him in right away. It was a super busy day. He had to sit in the hallway with like chairs is how they were lining up people in this hospital because all of the like emergency rooms were full. So, I mean, that was unfortunate. But they took him seriously and was like, yeah, we need to get you checked. They run a bunch of scans and tests. Couldn't figure anything out. The doctor finally comes back and is like, I think you might have a blood clot. I'm gonna x-ray your lungs. Or not x-ray, I think they did a CT scan. The scan comes back. He's got 4 large blood clots in his lungs and like a ton of little ones. Like, very serious, scary situation. At this point, his breathing was okay. His oxygen was low, but not like extremely low, but like lower than normal. But it was scary. I'm just gonna pause real quick and get my machine into candy mode so that the cooling can start happening. I'm gonna run these for 5 hours at 150 degrees. I'm gonna hit save, start, and then we have to wait a 15-minute cool down process. So they essentially tell him, you are so lucky that you came into the hospital. This could kill you. You are lucky you got here, and we can get you the proper medicine to take care of this. They put him on blood thinners, monitored him, and he got to go home later that night once they saw that he was stable. I mean, thank goodness for modern medicine, because the new blood thinners they have like completely fix you right away. We don't have to wait for like the clots to go away. They just like prevent them from getting bigger and spreading, and then they eventually like dissolve on their own, I guess was how they explained it. But he had to be on blood thinner for like 6 months, and it was like a really rocky road. They also, in the CT scan of his lungs, found 2 lung nodules on his lungs that could be signs of cancer. And he ended up having lots of testing to figure all that out. It all kind of was inconclusive, so he still has ongoing checkups and things on those spots on his lungs. But for right now, he's in the clear of that. But if they grow, then it could be something that does turn into cancer. So he is having, I think, yearly CT scans to keep an eye on those. So it was just like the blood clots and then the possible cancer scare, and it was just a really scary, scary time for my husband and I. When I heard that the diagnosis was a pulmonary embolism, I was just terrified, because I have a friend in Arizona whose husband passed away from a pulmonary embolism, and I just felt so bad for her that she had to go through that and had 2 little kids. And then when she found out that this happened to my husband, she reached out to me, just being so sympathetic and like saying how scary it is because that's what happened to her husband. And then I just felt so guilty that like, here my friend, she had to lose her husband, and like, why did mine get to, you know, live and that he's okay? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I told you this would happen. It was just something that didn't make sense to me, and I was so grateful that we didn't lose him. And then at the same time, felt so bad for my friend, and for so many people have had this problem, it feels recently, and it's just scary. And it was just feeling grateful, but also feeling terrible at the same time. What's ironic is that like 2 weeks before my husband's surgery and then the blood clots happened was when we bought my freeze dryer. And after I got that, I was just like, I needed a distraction. I needed a distraction from all of the things that were happening. So I decided to film my journey of becoming a freeze dryer and a prepper. I was more motivated than ever to have food and meals and things prepared for emergency situations, because you never know when life's gonna throw you a curveball. When an emergency, whether it's a health emergency or a natural disaster or anything that can put you in a tough spot where you can't get to the grocery store, you can't afford food at the grocery store, the stores can't get food to them because there's been an earthquake or a boat. Where we live in Alaska, boats have to get to Anchorage to bring the food, and trucks have to come, you know, crazy routes through mountains and stuff, and we have crazy weather here. Anything could happen at any time when we least expect it. So I wanted to become a prepper. Now you guys know I'm not a hardcore prepper. I'm a prepper where I just slowly start packaging and preserving food and meals. And on top of that, I use my freeze dryer for fun. My kids love the freeze dried candy, and they love helping me make it. They love experimenting with new things. It was just a fun outlet for us to have something fun to do. My kids enjoyed watching the videos on YouTube when we would post them. I mean, if you look back at my old videos, they are terrible, like terrible. But it was so fun at the same time, and I just have learned so much along the way and I don't know, it was an outlet for me and for our family during a really hard time. Okay, and I promise that'll be the only time I ever cry on my channel, because I am an ugly crier. I hope that's the only time, okay? But let's get our freeze dryer loaded up. Oops. Look what I just noticed. My drain bucket's not there. My freeze dryer room is also our guest room, and my mom was here with us this week, and so I took that bucket out so I could clean it, and I never returned it. I'm glad I saw that now and not till later on in the defrosting stage. I am gonna do a tray warm just because I've never worked with these gummies before. I'm just gonna do a 10-minute tray warm, and then it'll freeze dry, and we will see how these turn out. I'm super excited. Kind of the end of the story is that my husband ended up having to be out of work for a year because his job requires him to have a first-class medical, and that was a very, very, very long process of, I mean, first him making sure he was healthy and then waiting for his medical and stuff to all be approved. It took a full year. So during some of that time while he was home and out of work, that's when I started working as a substitute teacher at my kids' elementary school, which was great. I was happy that I was able to find a way to contribute financially to our family, and I seriously loved it. It was so fun getting to be at school with my kids and just like interact with everybody there. I loved being a substitute, and I still am. My husband's back to work and everything, but I'm still substituting 2 days a week, sometimes more when they need me, because it's just fun. I love it. Some people think subbing is like a terrible job, but I love it. My candies are going. I will be back with y'all in 5 hours, and we're gonna see how these turned out. I am hoping the Trader Joe's candy do something fun. At least they gotta puff up and be crazy. I hope. That would be so much fun. But okay, I'll see y'all in a bit. I'm out here on my after dinner walk. It's a bit sprinkling, so I'm in my raincoat, but fall is officially here in Alaska. The leaves are changing. And our fall only lasts like 2 weeks, I swear. It goes so fast. And then the leaves are all on the ground and winter is here, so yay. So I did peek inside of the freeze dryer window, and the candy is looking a bit disappointing. I'm so bummed. I won't know for sure until I actually take it out and try it, but from my eyes, it's not looking good. So I'm gonna hurry home and check out this candy. It's time for our big reveal. Let's see how they're looking. The Skittles are beautiful, as usual. Those never have any issues, but they all look exactly the same. So the egg, the white part hardened, the yolk part is squishy. I actually like the yolk part. But that is not pleasant. It's like hard as a rock. Our candy bacon feels exactly the same. The cinnamon dragon is soft. Here's our little turtle, like the white part freeze dried. I feel like I'm gonna break a tooth. So the Trader Joe's candy was a bust. Some candies that have too high of like a cornstarch base just don't freeze dry. So I guess that's what those were. I'm glad I didn't try to freeze dry the whole bag, because we'll just eat them as gummy candy, because that's so good. I'm gonna package up my Skittles. I'm using my smaller bags. These are 3 by 5 inch size, I believe. This is the size my kids like to use for like doing candy stands out on the corner, like lemonade stands, but they sell freeze-dried candy. They did pretty well last time, so we're gonna bag up the candy for them to sell before it gets too cold and rainy out there. They need to do some more candy stands. So here's the Skittles all bagged up. My kids sell these at their freeze-dried candy stand for $3 a bag to the neighbor kids. And they make a killing. And just 2 trays of Skittles gave us 12 bags. 12 times 3 is, Wesley, $36 if you sold all of those. Trying to teach my kids to become little entrepreneurs, but I need to get them in here doing all the work and not me doing it all for them. Because what kind of lesson is that teaching them? They're at least learning sales. Thanks for coming along with me and learning a little bit more about my YouTube journey. I just felt like 10,000 subscribers was a perfect time to just kind of share a little bit of my story, why I started YouTube. I really love it. It is a lot of hard work and takes a lot of time. It is not easy to just throw up videos on YouTube. There are amazing YouTubers who make it look so easy, and it's not that way. And I am just learning and growing and hoping to continue to grow, and this has been so fun. Thanks for being a part of my journey. Thanks for, I'm sorry to see me get a little emotional, but we're all human, right? If you have any stories you want to share with me in the comments down below, I love reading stories and getting to know you guys. It's hard when it's just like, I feel like it's a one-way conversation sometimes on YouTube, but I do love hearing your stories also. So if you have anything you want to share about any hard times you might be going through and things you have done to help kind of turn yourself around, or why you started prepping or preserving food, any of that, I would love it if you wanted to share your stories. And if we got a comment section full of just like uplifting stories, that would just make my day. So in today's video, we learned about what candies don't freeze dry well. If you want a video where I talk about my favorite candy to freeze dry, I will have that linked right here in case you missed that one. And I will see you all on the next video.